Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Obviously, I'm from 1inch. I am the growth lead for our protocol. Super excited to be here. And today, I actually wanted to do something a little bit different because talking about 1inch can get very technical very quickly. And half of you are already asleep or on your phones. So I'm trying to kind of keep that from not happening moving forward. That being said, how many of you have actually used one of these? Please put your hands up. Okay, thought so. All right, and if somehow you've never used one of these super efficient tools that makes your life easier, then how many of you have used one of these? Okay, yeah, of course, everyone in the room. Now, I know that you have been using them, and I've actually been trying to see what are you all looking for on these super amazing platforms, and this is what I found. This is what you all are curious about, statistically speaking, right? And I almost let it slide, right? I saw that very first thing, and I was like, wow, people are really curious about why dogs eat grass. And, I didn't make much of it. I was like, everyone has their own curiosities, but then I really started asking myself, why do dogs eat grass? And if I'm losing you at any point, please give me some time because I will eventually get to 1inch and how this all ties together. So imagine that is 1970, and there's no magical internet, there's no software, there is no way to find information within 3 seconds on your phone. And you're watching television and you see a dog eating grass, and you're just like, you put it away, you don't pay attention to it. You try to go to sleep, and you're just sitting there in your bed thinking, why was that dog eating grass? Like, I really need to know. And you get out of bed, you try to meditate, you do your yoga, you do your breathing exercises, you go back inside and you try to sleep. It's not working. You still need to know why dogs eat grass. So, next morning, you wake up, what do? You go to your friend Susan, who has 3 dogs, and you're like, Susan, why do your dogs eat grass? And Susan's like, well, I don't know, because they're stressed, they're anxious, they have digestive issues, whatever. And you're like, you know what, you're not convinced. You go to your veterinarian friend and you're like, hey, why do dogs eat grass? He gives you this medical explanation that makes absolutely no sense. You're like, I don't really understand. I'm going to do my own research. You go to a library, you search all the shelves for books, you're reading all the paragraphs, the references. You're spending 2 weeks just to find out an answer to a very simple question, right? You've already wasted 2 weeks of your life just to get there. Now, the year is 2021. Same situation. You're in bed, you're watching television, you see a dog eating grass. What do? You reach for the phone under the other pillow, you type it in, why do dogs eat grass? 3 seconds later, you have your answer. Why? Because of the magic of aggregators, right? There's endless lines of code and powerful algorithms that put all of this information at your fingertips so you can find out what you want right away. And again, it's the same whether you're traveling and you need to find out which hotel I should stay in this other part of the world, whether you're trying to find the perfect flight from one corner of the planet to another, or if you just want to find out something simple like I just explained, why dogs eat grass, right? The moral of the story is that there is information overload out there. There is just so much to navigate. Our brains are not equipped to do it, and this leads to choice overload. It's like we have difficulty making choices because of that. It's like, which platform do I use? Which airline should I fly with? Which hotel should I choose? Aggregators have the power of making this decision-making process a lot easier on us, right? Our brains are much more relaxed knowing that we can filter through all these choices and end up with the perfect one for us, whatever that may be. And if you don't know how big this is, 4.4 million businesses were created in the US alone in 2020. Each of these businesses is creating a new product, a new service, or a new piece of information to feed to you in order to get you to buy it, right? And you have to navigate all of that. Now here comes, again, the power of aggregation, where you find whatever suits you the best, and right? It's not a same fit for everyone. Everyone has different wants and needs. Here we go. What does this have to do with crypto? You are all here to probably find out when moon. At least that's what I'm asked every single day, right? It's like, which token's going to pump? Which ones should I buy? Which wallet? Which exchange? Every single time. And I'm sure that many of you also have the same question. Now, there are 100 million users in the crypto space. And I know this because I actually Googled and I found out the answer within 3 seconds. I didn't have to do too much research, like I already said. But each of these users have different pain points, right? Some of them, they're level 1. They're newbies, they have just entered the space, and they're wondering, which wallet should I use, or which exchange should I buy on, where do I trade, which tokens, right? It's very basic level questions that they're trying to answer, and they want to navigate the space. Now, these are the ones that need the most help because they simply don't know where to start, and most of the wallets that are winning right now are the ones that have the best marketing. Coinbase, anyone, right? Binance as well is the exchange where everyone kind of tends to enter the space through. And then you've been around for like 6 months, you've owned a couple of cryptocurrencies, now you're starting to trade, you're like understanding how it all works, and you want better tools. What is the better wallet? What is the better exchange? You're starting to understand about the difference between centralized exchanges and custodial wallets and non-centralized exchanges and, decentralized exchanges and non-custodial wallets, right? So you have a different set of questions that you're trying to find answers to. And then comes the expert level. This is the DeFi degens, right? It's the ones that would never use any sort of centralized exchange. You have no idea what their name actually is. Their picture is an NFT that looks like a bored monkey. And these ones are the ones that have an entirely new set of problems that do not apply to the ones that are level 1. Try to get my mom to trade on a decentralized exchange. You'll have absolutely no idea how to even set up. Now, again, we're dealing with the same problem that applies to the traditional world as we know it outside of crypto. Choice overload. Which wallet do I use? And most importantly, where do I go to swap one token for another? And here comes 1inch and the problem that we're solving, right? We're really trying to make it as easy and optimized as possible for users to find the best market rates for their trades, right? And how does it actually work? Like a lot of people, I talk to people all the time. It's my favorite thing to do to understand how they see 1inch and how they use it, but none of them actually understand how it works, unless they're very technical or they work in a traditional finance space. And this is an example of how our aggregation protocol works. So you want to make a trade from Ethereum to Graph token, for example. I chose this because it had a very complex path and I liked it a lot. So it's really the same magic as with Google, right? Like you have a question and you're trying to find out the answer to it. That's the destination right there. And this is the algorithm at work doing its thing, scanning all the different sources, the liquidity sources in our case, to find the best path to your answer. So in this case, we have a simple trade, like I said, from Ethereum. And here it shows you all the different liquidity sources. By the way, we have 132 of them integrated in our protocol, and how it's all split across this different path. Sometimes it's a single hop. Other times it's a double hop, as you see here. Sometimes it's even way more complex than this. The end result is that within seconds, you're able to find the absolute best market rate for your crypto swaps without having to go to 20 individual dexes to try to scan them each and see which one gives you the best rate. It's as simple as that, right? So that being said, what is next? Because now we have aggregators, and it's not just 1inch, but there's multiple aggregators out there. So what is the next step above that? How do I choose an aggregator among them all? Well, we have the aggregator of aggregators. And how many of you actually use MetaMask? Okay, right? So every time you swap, you get to see all the different APIs that have integrated, right? From 1inch to Uniswap to Paraswap, and they actually scan to see which one offers the best market rate. 1inch wins the trade most of the time. But the idea is that there should not be just one solution for everyone, but you should offer users multiple liquidity sources to choose from so that we, as aggregators, battle each other to always win the trade. It shouldn't be MetaMask's job to filter those trades on their own, right? So the battle should be among us, not among the user interface or the user interfacing wallets. Now, what is the end game? And this is a question that I think about a lot. We are building at 1inch, again, the aggregator, which will probably be just a plugin in the bigger picture, right? And let's think about what will the world look like maybe 30 years from now, right? We'll have like kids and grandkids, and they'll just wake up one morning, they fire up their laptop, it's already like a super secure hardware wallet, it's already mining whatever tokens in the back end. This is just the default, this is the reality they know. They get a notification that says, your mortgage in the metaverse is due in 2 days. Would you like to make a payment? And you click, yes, I would like to make a payment. And then it's like, what token would you like to pay in? Bitcoin, Ethereum, DAI, USDC, USDT. You're like, DAI. You don't have insufficient funds in your wallet. You quickly want to swap. Here comes 1inch as an aggregator. you don't even know that it's 1inch powering it, right? You just create the swap, you pay your mortgage in the metaverse, and then you continue just roaming around the internet admiring your NFT gallery, right? So this is kind of the future that we'll have not too far from now. The moral of the story is that what we're building today right now individually, the wallets, the browsers, the aggregators, the liquidity pools, etc., will be just these tiny, super small pieces that we'll take for granted in the same way that we are now taking for granted all the hard work that Google, Amazon, all the other platforms that I mentioned have put into this 20, 30 years ago. That's my talk, everyone. Thank you.
Great presentation, and of course we'll open up the floor to any questions anybody may have for 1inch. Gentleman there at the top, let me work my way to you. Sorry, I'm going to ruin your shot. You've been there all day. What took you so long?
Hi, so when 1inch does the multi-route through all the different exchanges and sometimes jumps through tokens, are you subsidizing the gas fees for all those swaps? Because, I mean, surely to perform those transactions, you're going to have to pay gas. And I know when I use 1inch, it's always sort of like the fixed GUI rate for, I don't know, I guess just one swap. How does it work in that regard?
So we're now subsidizing gas fees for all users, especially if you're taking 1inch. You can actually go to 90% of your gas fees being covered, right? And the Pathfinder algorithm is optimized so that no matter how many hops or how complex the route is, like the one I just showed, you always get the best gas fees, regardless of, like I said, how complex the path is. So we always optimize, including gas in our calculations. Like the algorithm keeps track of that.
That answer your question? Great. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Surely we must have some 1inch users here. All right. Andrea, anything else you want to add to it? How can we find out more about you, and how can we stay in contact with 1inch also?
1inch.io. My name's Andra. Just come grab my contact afterward if you want to keep in touch.